so letting a random tool decide my next print-on-demand product in my new Etsy shop is probably the craziest thing that I've done this week. But hear me out, this just might change the way that you decide and pick products for your Etsy shop. Today I'm going to be walking you through exactly how I use this tool to pick out my new perfect product for my print-on-demand shop that I am building this summer without spending hours drowning in Etsy research. If you are new around here, I am the owner of Bailey Design Co., a 7-figure digital design shop on Etsy, and I now teach others how to create the same types of shops on this YouTube channel and in my online community. Just a little bit of backstory, this summer I am building a brand new Etsy shop, specifically a hybrid shop, meaning it sells both digital products and print-on-demand products to one specific audience. I did this as a challenge to showcase my journey along the way and build it along with my members inside of my growth club to show that this is still possible in 2025. If you missed episode 1 on this channel where I mapped out the entire shop strategy and how to choose my niche, then that will be linked down in the description below. Okay, so I've been talking about the product finder and profit tree on this channel a bit in the past few months, but that is just because I have been personally using it and finding it so helpful and just cutting a ton of time out of the research process phase. So when I first started this summer hybrid shop challenge, one of the tasks was to choose 4 to 5 different print-on-demand products and a few different digital products. So in this video, I'm going to show you the exact process of how I went through choosing one of the print-on-demand products and how easy it was to create it with Printify. So over here in Printify, I was just going through some of their best sellers and then taking that over to Etsy to see if there was an actual demand for it. And that was proving very, very time consuming. I was sifting through pages and pages of results and not finding exactly what I was looking for. The product that was shown as a bestseller on Printify and something that I had never sold before in my previous print-on-demand shop was candles. And so I was really interested in this just because it looked like there wasn't a lot of design needed to actually create these. So over here in Printify, you can see if it is a bestseller with this little badge here, or you can see if it's trending here, which is this like scented soy candle, which we'll get back to this one in just a moment. After the research that I had done, I can see why this one is actually trending. Okay, so over here in Profit Tree, I've just clicked on Product Finder, and then I'm going just to add the keyword candle. I'm not doing any type of niche specific search for the candle yet. I just want to get a broad understanding of what's actually selling in the candle niche. Now, I do have the lifetime plan, so some of these columns may or may not be available to you depending on what level of access or tier that you are in. But if you have the lifetime plan, that's exactly what I'm in right now. So as you can see, we have a lot of different candles that are popping up here. And the main columns that I'm looking at is the demand. So 21 sold in the past 24 hours. Then I'm looking at things like monthly revenue as well as the listing age. So this one is especially important to me because I want to create things that have not been up for like 6 years, but are still selling really, really well. So for example, this one here has been up for 2 months, 40 have sold in the last 24 hours, and the monthly revenue is around $3,000. And if we take a look at it really closely, it is just a really funny employer or coworker type of a candle. So we may have seen these on things like coffee mugs before, but now they've just put it on a candle. Another really good example is this thank you teacher gift set here. So if I were doing a teacher themed store, this would be the perfect type of product. So in 20 plus carts, 2 months old, and has averaged about $4,000 per month. And if you take a look at it, it's a quote that has been around for a while. Again, we've seen this on all types of coffee mugs and tumbler wraps and other types of decor. And now they've just put the quote on a candle and have a little bit of like a script type font, and then the rest is really, really basic. It does have some personalization on there, so that is something to keep in mind. I thought that this one was really interesting to point out as well, a personalized candle here that is a month old and doing really, really well. So this is something where you actually don't have to be very creative. You just have to get the listing ranked, and then you basically let the customer fill in the blank, quite literally. So they would just hand you off whatever type of personalization that they want here, and then you do the work or have an app do the work of actually customizing that and then sending it over to Printify. Also, a lot of things that I'm seeing in this list is the keyword soy candles. Now, while they may not be the print on demand type, it is still really important to notice that the soy candles are doing really, really well. So if that is one that you wanted to add as well, along with a regular type, then you could do that as well. Another really important factor for me to learn when I was creating this product for my own new shop was that pretty much all of these did not have any type of graphic design elements, which is really hard for me as a typical sublimation designer. I want to add graphics or some type of design effect to anything and everything. But what I noticed was basically on all of these, it is really just text-based types of design. So they really focus on the typography and then the quote or the message itself. So if you are going to be creating candles for your shop, then I highly recommend focusing on the quote, and you can use AI to come up with better and more unique quotes, which is what I'm going to show in just a moment, and then really focus on the typography as well. So of course, if you do already have a niche chosen for your shop and you want to do some more specific type of searching for your products, you could actually go ahead and type that in here. So let's say your niche is just a funny, humorous, sarcastic vibe type of a shop. So you could put in the word funny candle so that you could narrow it down a lot more to see what types are actually selling versus going back and forth between teachers and bridesmaids and all types of things. As you can see, the niche score for this did change quite a bit than just the very broad word candle. This brought it up to a 99, which if it's above 90, it says it's definitely worth getting into. So I find that this is really helpful when looking into specific keywords. So then you're gonna have all types of funny ones. You will still have your custom ones in here as well, since that tends to pull up as a keyword because it could be something funny that they're looking for. So do just keep in mind that you will get lots of different results with this. So for the example of using AI to quickly create this and then how to actually upload this to Printify, I decided to use this example because it actually had a graphic design on there and was still a bestseller. So I found hope in that some graphic design elements could be used. And while I won't be showing my exact niche, just because I am trying to keep this shop very private and secret for the time being as much as possible. If you are a longtime viewer, you know that my big shop is very public and shown on YouTube a lot. But with this one, just to give it as best of a chance to start out in the right way, I am not revealing the niche right now or of course the actual shop. So I'll be creating this not for my specific niche, but I wanted to use this one as an example as it's done well with some type of graphic design element. So I decided to go back and do a more specific search, and I did both funny and reading just because I am really interested in that, would buy a candle like that. And then I'll take that cross niche idea of the little dumpster of where the graphic design placement was and use it for this niche. So this one is a really cute idea. It smells like she's reading Dragon Smut again. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube. If not, I'm sure I will get some type of notification. However, this is a really good one for this niche. I am somewhat familiar with it, and I know that I could make a really cute type of dragon reading a book, which is what I think would work really well with this type of candle design. So my first step is to come up with a slightly different type of a quote or saying, or even a better or more unique one. So I'm just going to take the one that I had and ask ChatGPT what it can give me that is more unique and funny that still stays in this niche. So I just said, what are 10 more sayings like this for the romantasy reading niche? This is a quote for a candle, and then I copied the quote. And these are honestly mostly super, super good and funny. Again, if you don't understand this niche, I wouldn't be creating in it, honestly, unless you've done a lot of research. But knowing it, as I may or may not read these types of books, I know that a lot of these quotes would work really, really well. So I went back and said, make some more dragon ones, because I didn't get any dragon ones. And so I wanted to be able to create a dragon with my little AI tool. So I wanted to see what it would come up with. You can also tell it to tone it down or take it up a notch as well. But I'm gonna go ahead and stick with one of these just to keep it somewhat safe at this point. Please, I apologize. I did not intend to take it this direction at all. I'm just kind of going as we go with this video. And so this sounds like a really good one. Smells like she's about to be claimed by a dragon lord. So I've just copied that. And since this is a super easy design, I'm just gonna go ahead and create it over in Canva, because this is where my hundreds and hundreds of fonts are already uploaded. I may go and grab my dragon from something like Midjourney, just because I'm not typically a fan of Canva's AI generator. So first of all, I need the size for my candle label. So this is the one that I'm going with here. And if you just click on Start Designing, it will actually give you the size for the print area. So it needs to be 624 by 546 pixels. So I've just set my canvas over here in Canva. And now I'm just going to first drop in that text and format that. If you need to go back and forth to look at typography or the placement of it, then you can kind of just keep these saved or go back to a Profit Tree and look at a couple different varieties just to make sure that it's in line with what's actually selling. For most of these, it was the bold type of font, which is very basic like this, or it was something a little bit more detailed and feminine like this in the book niche. So I already had this font installed. It's actually called Dragon Slayer, but it looks like something that the book niche would appreciate in the romantasy fantasy space. And so this is what I went for. I then just spaced it out so it had the full line up here, and then just kept it to 2 words this way all the way down here so it would fill out the entire space. So that way I could add my dragon here. Okay, so I chose to generate my dragon over in Midjourney just because, in my opinion, it gives one of the best results for the most realistic fantasy types of dragons out of a lot of the AI tools that I've used. So I've just generated it a few times, both sometimes using the word couple and sometimes just the single dragon to see what type I like the best. So I really like this individual one here, and for the most part it is basically ready to go. So I will just upscale this and then take it over to Canva, remove the background, and add it. Okay, so I ended up bringing the text up about this to this length or this height right here, just because it seemed when I looked at all of the other ones, most of them were doing that, and I'm not sure if that's because they put the information of the candle down here, but if not, it's structured that way anyway so that it's in line with what's actually selling. And then actually going to change the color of the font to one of these colors, just because I think that that looks more feminine, romantasy to match the actual dragon. Then I've just downloaded this as a transparent PNG file, and then I will upload this over here in Printify. So I've just clicked on upload and then click on my device, which is right there. And now I'm able to bring this over here and format it so that it fits directly in there just like this. Now I'll go ahead and preview it just to make sure that this is set up correctly. And from what I can tell, it doesn't show that it adds any additional information. So if that is the case, and we'll have to double check with that, then I would probably fill this out with actual roses, some more roses. I would just go in and generate more roses just to fill out that, and because I'm just extra that way as far as the types of designs. Then you can select your variants here and then go ahead and save product. I would recommend investing in some additional mockups. Printify does have a few mockups like these ones that are actually showing it in use, and so they tend to perform better than just on a white background like this. But Etsy also has some really great candle mockups as well. You'll just want to make sure it's the actual candle that you're selling. After selecting the mockups and adding them here, actually I'm not sure why those, I'll have to go back and deselect those. Then you're going to want to fill out the rest of your information. So I typically like to fill out as much information over here as possible before I publish to Etsy, so that I don't have to go back and forth. So that includes adding my other mockups here once I've deselected these, and then added my Etsy mockups as well. So this means filling out your title, your description, this would all be left, and then you could put in some niche specific keywords. So if you are in the book niche, you would add that here, and then as well as your tag. This is where you could enable customization or personalization if your candle is one of those custom ones. And then next is where you will assign your shipping profile. So if you are a print-on-demand shop, you would have already had these set up over in your Etsy dashboard. But if not, you can go over there and set these up and then make sure your shop is connected so that you can choose the appropriate one. You can change the pricing here, and then after that, it is basically good to go. So you would select exactly what you want to push over and then select publish. Using the product finder in Profittree has been truly game-changing with this build of this new shop, as it's not something that I had in my last go-around of creating new shops, so it really has been time-saving. It's so helpful to not have to guess all of the time, and we can just use data to create products that are already trending and popular on Etsy, and then that way we just are focusing on bringing our own unique twist to make them sell even better. Again, be sure to watch this video up here next if you want to see how I'm actually strategizing this entire shop and how I chose my niche specifically. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.